Hello everyone, this is Jeff coming to you live with another unboxing video. This has recently come from the USPS and we're going to open it up today. Been looking forward to getting this for quite some time. These particular models come from Collectable Jets in Massachusetts. And this is a Gemini 200 from Gemini Jets. It's a 200 scale Lufthansa Boeing 747-8. This is the passenger version, so it's the Intercontinental. The serial registration is D-ABYC. This is Sachsen, which is the name of the particular aircraft. This is my second 747 model, and incidentally the other one I have is also from Collectable Jets as well. I was able to fly from Chicago to Frankfurt recently and rode on this particular aircraft. So I was very happy to see that I was getting a version of an aircraft that had been something I'd also flown on. Pretty standard Gemini box. Wow, very just impressive size. I did take a video of my takeoff and landing with this particular jet, so I have those posted up on YouTube, and I'll put a link to it in the video here as well. And it's got the oversized Gemini stand, which is good for the larger models. I'm also quite happy with the way that the gear is being done these days as well. So this is D-ABYC. Here are the gear covers. One of the things that's most impressive is the weight. It's about 6 pounds, so it's got a lot of weight to it. And this is going to be the longest model that I have. It's currently the longest commercial airliner. It's just surpassed the Airbus A3 4600 by a few feet. 250 feet in total length. So it's a little bit longer than the A380, so this will be the longest model I have in my collection, although I do have a A380 in both the 200 and 100 scale and the 400 and 500 scale, but 200 is my favorite size. But everything's clearly marked. And we've also got jewels for the inboard lights here. It looks like inboard landing light, which I think is a really nice feature. And the sawtooth pattern on the engine nacelle is really impressively done. Again, this is D-ABYC. There's a marking on the tip of the vertical stabilizer as well. And the raked wing tips are really nice to look at. I was seated in 44K, which is right around this fourth window here in the back. It's the last seat, or it's next to the window, but there's only 3 seats in that row, and then there's 2 seats in the row behind, so the window seat has a lot of room to recline, which makes it a really comfortable seat. You can stay reclined through the whole flight, which is really nice. Really nice detail on the power unit. All the antennas are clearly displayed. This aircraft did have Wi-Fi, and I used it, so it's nice to have that. And nice jewel beacon. I do have some really good quality photographs of the jet in real life, so it's nice to be able to compare the model to the real thing. But I think it's been pretty accurately done. I don't see any glaring defects in the paint or anything that some others have observed, unfortunately. But this one looks to be in fine condition. So I got the gear on and get everything put together. I looked at some pictures and made sure I had all the parts in the right place. And the gear does tilt, but do have some alignment issues that seem to be an ongoing problem depending on how you want to look at it. the gear, that is. The rest of the model's outstanding. Very nicely done. Color looks really good though, and the fan blades do spin. I'm sure of it. I always worry about damaging them if I were to mess with them, so I usually don't. It's actually nice to be sitting towards the rear of the aircraft because you can see this engine, the outboard engine, throughout the whole flight, and also see the flaps extending, and then the spoilers deploying on landing. You can even catch a little puff of smoke coming off the wheel, the outboard wheel, main bogie, when it touches the asphalt, which is kind of neat. One of the things I did observe with the stand is that it seemed like the hole wasn't very appropriate to the actual pin in the stand. I ground down the tip of the stand a little bit to see if it would fit in there a bit better or a little bit deeper. It seems like the hole is not really the right shape, so when the model is on the stand it has this sort of pitched back look, and it's a little too close to the rear two bogies in my opinion. You can see where there's a gap at the front here, so that's a little bothersome. So when it's on the stand it tends to be resting on more of the fuselage of the actual model itself, as opposed to the weight being on the stand or beyond on the pin. One thing I did notice is that if I remove the gear here, the front nose gear, and lay it down on the table, it still seems, it doesn't tip forward onto what would be the nose gear or the nose of the aircraft, which tells me that the center of gravity of the model itself is pretty good. So the fact that the stand is in front of the center of gravity, which is actually about here, it causes it to want to pitch to the back, so in this kind of angle, which further reinforces the position of the stand being where it's at. So I'm going to try to wedge a little piece of foam in the behind of it to kind of push it up, but it's kind of a limiting factor. So just a word to the wise for people that are worried about the stand. Sometimes I get a little concerned about the weight of a model being on there, so I'll look into this and we'll get it sorted out. Oh, I just noticed the jewel lights in the nose gear. Well, overall I'm really happy with the model. I think this is going to be a great addition to the collection. I've really been looking forward to this showing up. I'm impressed by the size, and the pure white color just looks really good, especially with the blue and yellow contrast in the color of the livery itself, the vertical stabilizer and the logo on the side. Just really impressive looking aircraft, and nice to have flown on this particular D-ABYC aircraft from Lufthansa, as It's a nice addition to the collection when you can say you've actually flown on it. Anyway, thanks for watching.